Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And first of all, really sorry for this delayed video. And let me just get you updated. Although you might know that I'm not currently in my home country, and I have been traveling to a different country, and that's why I have some problem with my gadgets. And along with that, there is some time management issues where I'm not able to, record the video, or if I'm recording the video, editing is becoming a lot of problem. So there has been so much going on, but I promise that it's not gonna happen anymore, and I'm gonna make sure to keep posting the actual content regarding the projects that we've been developing. So so yeah, it will come back to the previous consistency that we had, or maybe it will be slightly more than that. But yeah, that was the apology that I wanted to have. Now, before starting again, this is the time when I thank our new member, channel member who has joined the membership. I really appreciate all this support, because this is something that basically motivates me to make more content like that. And all the previous members that we had, thank you so much again. So yeah, that was something that I wanted to say before I start my video. And now let's just get to the code, or let's just get to the project where we basically left it. So previously what we did was that we set up a background service that was basically helping us play the song and all that. So that was something that we did. And now in this video, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set up a UI for that, so that we can communicate through the UI as well, like from the screen, because previously it was just a loading screen, and now we need to have some sort of UI which can show what kind of song is running, how much song has been like played, the duration of the song. And then we definitely should have some action, like we can pause the song from there and play the song from there, and then there will be a lot of other stuff as well. So that is something that we're going to do. And now I'm not going to show my face all over the screen, and let's just get to the code and actual implementation. Now if you get over here, you can see this is something that I am planning to do it today. So this is the first part, in which you can see there is a something related to playlist, which is right now we don't have playlist implementation. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to slightly change it to now playing, and then I'll name it as the name of the song. So that is one thing. Then we have this image that will be there the way it is. Then we have this thing which is kind of a song name, and this is again where we will be showing the song name to the user. So that's that. And then there is this genre for this. So this genre is again something that we will add. And other than that, we have this seek bar, we have this play button, next, and this. So that is something I'm going to do. I'm not going to add this share button and the like button for now, or like the other buttons that we have. The reason is that we are not implementing these functionality for now. Once basically we implement all the other functionality, we'll see if we want to implement this, or maybe you can take it as an assignment for you, where you can just like create this UI screen, and then we'll take it up from there. So yeah, that's something that we want to implement today. And now, without wasting any time, I'll actually jump to the actual code. So this is the code that we had, and previously you can see that we had this implementation where we were just fetching the song, and then after fetching the song, we are playing that song, right? And the playing song was basically done through the service. And now if you go to the service that we had, this was a service. So if you go over here into this service, you will see that we had this binder that was helping us getting that service instance, and then based on that we had some functionality like play song, pause songs, and all that. So we had a lot all those things that were there. Now what we want to do over here now is that we want to connect, like bind our service with the UI. Previously we were not doing that, but now we should do that. So that is something that I'm going to do over here right now, and let's just do that. So if I go to my play song view model, you see we have stuff like that. So there will be a couple more things that I'm going to do, or I'm going to create over here. And the first one is going to be private var playback service. So that is a playback service that I'm going to use, and that is going to be the Musify playback service. So that's one thing. Second thing that we need over here is that we need to make sure to have a reference to the service if it's bound or not. If it's not bound, we'll attempt to rebound it and then start using it, right? So we will be saying is service bound. So that is another thing. And one more thing I'm going to do over here, and that is going to be the current song. Current song means that what song that we are currently playing. So that is also going to be there. So these are the three things that we need. Now, whenever you basically create, like start a service and you want to bind it, there is a proper implementation for doing that. And to do that, we need some sort of service connection. A service connection basically helps if your UI has got connected to the service, and it returns, like it gives you kind of, a binder for you to implement, to use. And that binder is going to be the music file service binder that we created. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. So that's something you can say private wall service connection is equals to object. That is going to be service connection. This is Android content service connection that you can use. Now, once you do that, it will complain that you need to implement members, and this is where you will implement the two members that we had. The first member is going to be service connected, and the other one is service disconnected. So these are the two things that you are going to use, and that's what we are going to doing over here. And that is, like, the first thing is going to be is service bound is set to be true. So that's one thing. And then in this case, the service bound should be set to false. But not that's not all. We need some more stuff over here. For example, I would want, if we go back to the playback service, we had this player state, and that player state is important because this player state will help me, access the state of what's going on, and based on that, we will basically make sure to link everything that's there. That is like really important. So now let's just do that as well. We'll go over here to this. Where were we? It was view model. Now, over here, I'm going to create some sort of observe playback service. We don't need the binder for now. It's fine. But one more thing, sorry, I forgot, and that was the playback service. We need to define that playback service to this, and that is going to be this iBinder. So I'm going to name it as binder to make it a little bit easier to understand. And I'm going to make it as Musify music binder. So that is important. Okay. And now once you do that like this, you can either use like non-nullable kind of thing, because I know this is the only service that I'm going to request, so we are good. And from over here you can say get service, and it will give back that callback to this. So this is how you can basically use the binder and bind it to you, to your view model. Now we have the reference to the view model, to the service, and then now we can basically communicate with the service directly. So again, like this is something we can do. For example, you can say observes playback services there. And now let's just say if the current song is not null. And now over here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just use that simple method to play that song, which means that now it will just, be played as soon as the service gets connected. And that's exactly what we wanted, right? So that's one thing that we did. And now this method is not there, so we definitely need to make sure to do that. And one more thing I think we need over here is that we need to set the playback service to null when it's disconnected, because like if it's disconnected, we don't want that to be there, so that let's say if user comes back again after a while, we would want to rebound that, right, without any issue. So that is important. Right now the service connection is done, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bind this service. So where do we bind this? You can see over here we are starting this service. And now after starting the service, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure that if the service is not bound, we'll just straight away go context.bind service, and then we will be using the same intent. We are not going to change the intent. This is the same intent that we used for starting the service, and that the same intent will be used over here for binding as well. And then we will be passing the service connection, the callback kind of thing that will give back the result for that. And then this is the context or bind auto create. So basically this will be a flag that we will pass to this. And that's how it will basically do this, all these things for me. And one more thing that I'm going to do over here is that rather than calling it play song, I'm going to call it as start service and bind. Okay, and the reason I'm basically using this because we just want to start service without having any problems over here. Now that's one thing, and we still have this problem with this observe playback service, so we need to implement that as well. And now I'm going to say function, or let's call it private function observe playback service like this. And over here you can just say that if your playback service is not null, right, then what you need to do, or let's just do something else. I'm gonna take out all these things and we'll implement it one by one. So now it says that we first thing is that we need to check for that. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say service dot player state. That is important. And now this player state is kind of the thing that we will want to observe. So for that I'm just going to say on each. So every time when there is a change, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make some sort of adjustment or make some sorts of updates that I want. Right now I'm not going to change it because I need some other stuff to do over here before that. And also this important that you need to make sure that you kind of going to be launch in, and for launch in we are going to say that this is going to be view model scope so that it runs in background. So that is there. Now over here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change my state value, that this state that I have, this state that I created. So I'm going to change these values, but before changing that I need to make some adjustment to the play song state, because over here you see we have this as list, which is not required over here because we don't have any kind of list or anything. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change it slightly so that we can update it like as per the requirement. And for that you can go to your service, and beneath that, if you remember, I created this state, and this is the exact same thing I would want over here. So rather than having this list as a as value, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use all these values that are there. So playing, current song, current position, duration, error, and bufferings, and all that. So that is important. Now over here, when you get over here into this section, now what we need to do is that we need to set a success state to the based on the whatever the play state value is there. So you can say is that underscore state dot value is equals to success, or you can say play song state dot success, and then you pass all the values that are there. For example, there is this, then you have buffering, and then you have error. So you can pass all these values to this. Now there is one more thing that I would want you to make sure before, like, fix it before you go move forward, and that is this current position and duration. This current position and duration basically tells you the songs, how much song has been played, and what is the exact like duration of that song. So if you set a specific value, then fine. But normally what happens is that initially, when the first time when the player hasn't read the state, it has some random value which can be negative as well. And if it's a negative and you pass it to a seek bar, that basically crashes. So you need to make sure that the value is never a negative, because it doesn't make sense that your current position is negative. Your current position should at least be 0 or greater than 0, because that's how the music would work, right? So you need to make sure that, and to that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to course at least to 0 for this, and for this as well. So both of them are basically at least have a minimal value of 0. Right now that is done. So now the next thing would be to create a function that says on, or let's say toggle play pause, right? And now over here we will be doing is that we will be uh, doing something like this. Now you can see we have this service is playing is not there. You can just go back to this section like this. I think this is the section, yeah. And create is playing, and then it will just make sure that if the song is playing, right? So and then you will get this method over here. So if it's already playing, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna pause it. If it's not playing, then it rather than playing, it should say resume song. Okay, so that is important, and this is basically what we should do. And then this is one thing. And now one more functionality that we have is this playback service. And then this means that we'll be using media session callback for that, and that is going to help us with the on seek to method. This will basically update the seek position. So I think that's something that we are gonna do over here, and this is basically another thing. Now what is left over here? I think there is nothing more left from here from this side, and now what we need to do is that we need to just straight away jump to the UI and start working on the UI. So what exactly, let me just, if I rephrase this all, what happens is that as soon as user fetch that song, it will just start the service, and this service is basically gonna help with, it will start the service like this over here, and starting the service, it will check if the service is bound. If it's not bound, it will also bound that service as well, because that's what we want, right? And and yeah, that's that. Then based on that, what we are gonna do is that we are gonna uh, start doing stuff. One thing I think I missed over here is that we need to also set the current song to the song that we pass to it, right? Because without that, it doesn't make sense. So that is also important. Or perhaps rather than doing it over here, we should do it somewhat over here before starting the service. So it should be response dot data. And yes, that's that. I think that's pretty much what we should be doing. So yeah, let's just get ahead now. Now go to the UI screen. Now over here, you remember, like, we had all these things. Now I'm gonna close this for a while, and we had just this implementation where we had this launch effect for events, and then this was the other part where we were doing the rest of the stuff. Now what we need to do is that we need to implement the UI, right? Again, if we go back to the UI, you see we have this section, then we have this, then this, and then this section. So I'll try to implement all that right away. Now, this is the success case, which is all the stuff that it requires. And now from the success case, like inside this success case, I need to create that, but I'm going to create a separate composable for that. And first, let me just add some spacing over here. Now, let's call it composable and call it function place on content, and it's gonna pass not these values, we don't need them. Instead, let's just do one more thing, create another composable, or let's call it a preview, and then composable, and then call it function place on content, and we'll definitely be updating this based on the changes that we would want. So the first thing that I need over here is that I need a title as a string. Then I need a I don't think if we had a artist, but let's call it genre as string. Then we would be using image again as a string. Then we would be using duration as long. Then we would be using current position as long, and is playing as default. And then we would be using is buffering as boolean as well. Think that's pretty much what we would want. I can't remember anything else other than this. So yeah, these are the things that we need to pass. And now let's just add some random stuff to this, right? So basically, I pass the song title, pop, genre, image. It's not there yet, but yeah, that's pretty much what we did over here. And now, if I switch to this section where I can show you the preview, just one more thing I think I'm gonna do over here as well before I just do, and that is going to be musified theme, and dark theme is going to be true. So because I can see what's going on there, and we do it something like this. Now it doesn't have anything right now, like we didn't created anything inside this, so that is why it is like this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say modifier dot fill max size, and then we need to add a background to this. So for that, I'm going to use material theme dot color scheme dot background. Once you do that, you will see that there will be a black screen with all the stuff that requires. And also I would want everything to be padded 16 dp from each side, so that it like leaves all the spaces from every side. That's one thing. Now the next thing would be to create another composable over here now, and call that composable as function uh, now playing now playing content, and what it requires is that requires a title again as string, and also it should save its playlist, right? And I'm gonna set that to boolean and equals to false, because for now we don't have that implementation, but we'll do that implementation so that uh, we change the stuff. Now what does this mean? So what I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say wall message is equals to if is playlist, will be saying now playing, it should be saying something as, what does it says, playing from playlist. Okay, so it's saying playing from playlist and now playing. That's two different things. And now we will be using a column that should say fill max width. That's important. Background is there, so we don't need that background, and we also don't need the rest of the things for this. Yes, we need this. That should say this, but again, we just need a message for this, and then I'm gonna use it to make it uppercase as well, so that it's like looks a little bit good. Title, body, and then there will be color, that is going to be material theme, material theme dot color scheme dot on surface variant. I think that would be something that will help. Okay, I don't see that. Perhaps, yeah, well, definitely it will won't be shown to you because we are not using it. So let me just add it over here and pass the title and playlist as false to this, so that we can see the result over here. Now you can see that we are seeing that now playing over there. You can also try surface. I'm not sure how the surface would be. It's slightly light, so surface variant is fine. Or perhaps surface bright. Okay, so surface variant should be enough. Okay, that's now playing, and the next thing is that we need a title for this. So it is going to be the title, and then it has a headline, and then it has a title, but it should be primary. So it's something like this, right? Now you can see that we have the first part, first section done. Next part is going to be a composable, and then we will be saying that function, uh, song content, and this should contain title, genre, image, duration, and all that. And what exactly happened here? Okay, now we don't need this. So instead, also we don't need this and this, because everything that's there are already taken care of. And now the next thing that I'm gonna need, the first thing I believe would be to have an async image, and that image is going to be the model is equals to image. That's that. Content description should be cover. Oh, come on, I don't know what's happening today, but this is the cover image. The size is not going to be this. Instead, I'm gonna add simple 300 dp to this, and we don't need anything else over here. Just we will be adding this image to that, and then after the image we will be using a musify spacer with 16.dp, so that we leave some space from there. Or perhaps we should also do that over here as well, right? And now we need a text for a title. That's again headline small, it should be headline medium at least. And now let's use that song content over here as well, so we can see exactly how it looks. Now if you preview that, you see this song title over there, which is should be white. So yeah, let's just fix that. It should not be primary. Instead, it should be on primary, so that you see that there's a white thin, and then I think it should be headline large, so slightly bigger. And then the next thing would be to have a body medium on surface variant, and that is going to be genre. Perhaps we can say headline small, sorry, this one, headline small, a little bit bigger. And okay, so that is surface variant, so that it's slightly grayish for this. And now the next thing would be to have that kind of, seek bar for yourself and all that. There's just one thing I would say that we should do over here, and that is going to be modifier. Sorry, we already modifier, so it's going to be horizontal arrangements, and that is going to be center horizontally. And when you do that, there will be slight issues with all this, you can see. So we'll be basically making sure that this song content, this text specifically, are, you know, fill max width, so that they are kind of taken back to where they were. And we'll be using same thing for the pop as well. I'm not sure why it didn't go to the center, but yeah. So that's something that we did. And now the next thing would be to have, let's just do horizontal, that's that. Okay, now we are good. Now if I take out that, I think it will be centered, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's that. We did that. Now this is done. The next thing that we need over here after this whole thing is that we need some spacing. Now over here, this is the portion, this is the place where I would want a box, or if not box, it should be saying that if is buffering, then I would want to show some sort of, progress indicator, and that is going to be linear progress indicator. So I'm going to say linear progress indicator for this. And if it's not, so let's say if not is buffering, right? If it's not buffering, then over here what we need to do is that we need to create some sort of slider. So I'm going to say slider, and it contains a couple of things. For example, it would want a value for this, that what value we should be showing to this. Then on new value, what should we do? And it also should be enabled based on that. The way value range should not be like this. Instead, there will be some more stuff that we would want. So the current value is not this. Instead, this is going to be the current position to float. That's one thing. And that is going to be duration dot to float. So that's that. And on value change, you can say, we don't have that implemented over here. So we can say on seek change new value float. I don't think we need the implementation for that. And we can just get that as this, right? So yes, we are good over here. You can just pass on seek chain to this. Okay, we also don't have that over here, so you can also make that implementation for this over here as well, so that we can see all that. And now you can see that, we have the seek bar that's there, and based on this value, okay, let me just add that to this. Okay, right. And now this was like the part where we had the seek bar, and the seek bar will be updated based on the state of the whatever the state there is. And now there are one, like a couple more things. For example, we would also want some sort of text as a start and end of this. So I'm going to create a raw for this, or and that raw is going to take, some sort of starting and ending point, and add those values to this. So I'm going to say text, and that is going to be text is equals to formatted time to this, something like this. and that is going to be box. That is, I'm gonna pass modifier dot weight as 1f, and then last one is going to be formatted duration. So that is again the current position and the duration. This means that it will show a couple of things. Now over here, let's just create this function that says formatted time, and it will be using millis as boolean. And now over here, we are just, gonna do is that we will change that millis to seconds and minutes and then format them. And we also need to return a string, or you can do one more thing. You can say wall duration is equals to millis divided by 1,000, and you can use this duration rather than, having this huge confusing, right? I think that will work. So, oh, it should be long, not boolean. Sorry about that. And we should also add the material theme dot color scheme dot, again, surface variant for this one as well, because it looks too, you know, and then this is going to be the similar for this. I think there has been some problem with this minutes, that now we should be good, and it's still like looking very light, so maybe I'll add on primary for both of them so that they are, sorry, yeah, that's so they are slightly whiter and you can see them. So basically it's a 230, which is 50%, and that is the formatting that we did. And now the last thing would be to have, actions for this. So that is the song content, and now I'm gonna say song actions, or let's say the song content and song action should be, there should be one difference. I think I made one mistake over here, and that is that this part, like this part, should be part of the song content rather than song actions rather than song content, because uh, that's how it should be, right? And now this is there, you don't need all these things from there. And now let's create one more function, composable function, and call it song actions. And then you definitely need a couple of things from there, so I'm going to add all those. For example, you need is buffering to be boolean, you need current long position duration, and then you also need a on seek change implementation for this as well. And along with that, you can say on um, play pause toggle also should be something as this. And what else is playing should also be there. And then what else? I think that's pretty much we need. Yeah, sorry. Okay, this thing should go to the end, and it should be on next clicked, right? You display toggle should also go, like the functions, for example, the methods that we are gonna call should go always to the end. And like, just to make sure, and I'm gonna add some default implementation for these so that don't have to implement them, because right now we don't have that functionality. Now we don't need to pass these values, which is fine, so which is good. And now you can define the song actions and pass all the values that are there. And we have, the if we go to our view model, we are not on a view model over here. Okay, sorry, it's a content, so you can say on play pause toggle, that's that. And you can call that on play pause toggle dot invoke. And if you go over here into this section, now you can just call that whole stuff over here like this, and don't need to do this. Instead, when you get the success, you can just say dot current song dot title, and we know that it's going to be there always. Or you can just to be on the safer side, you can always do as current song and then do a let for that, so that it doesn't show you, the null item, or just show all these values just when only the data is actually available. So I'm gonna do current song dot genre, then we'll be using dot current song dot cover image, and these are there. On this is going to be seek to, and this is going to be toggle play pause. What exactly is looking for? Okay, this is seek to is long, which is fine. Why am I passing a wrong value? Am I passing a wrong value to this? Let's see. Okay, let me see what exactly I'm missing here. On seek change is going to be long, and that is also going to be like this song action should return a long value to you, and then when it gets over here, it should say long. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna pass that to long as this, and I think you can always use it as enable. Or no, sorry, I made a mistake over here. This is thankfully I saw that. We would also be showing that in the in buffering. It's just that will not be enabling it. So that's one thing I just totally missed over here. And what else is there that's left? Yeah, now we need the actions, the rest of the actions. For example, we had these ones that are there. Now we need some more actions. For example, we need a raw. That's important to do that. And now inside that raw, we need a couple of buttons. First thing I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to say modifier dot fill max width. That's in one thing. Second thing is that I would want all these values to be centrally aligned. So I'm going to say horizontal arrangement should be arrangement, and that's going to be center for this. And now over here, we will be creating some icon buttons. So we'll be using icon buttons, and we did have on click for that. So on click is going to be on previous click. That's I think the first one should be, and it should contain an icon, right? And I'm going to use painter for that, and I'll show you. I'll tell you why. The reason for that is then going to be painter is equals to painter resource, and it should be we'll be using the default Android icons that we have. So I'm going to say Android dot r dot Android dot r dot drawable dot IC media previous for that. Okay. And then we also need a content description for that, which is again important. That's one icon. Then you need the play icon, and then you need the previous next icon. So I'm going to say IC, sorry, it's IC media next, and that is going to be next, and that is going to be play pause, right? And that is going to be IC media either play or pause. Right now we have both, so we need to make sure which one we should use, right? So for that, what you can do is that if is playing, or you can say wall IC is equals to if is playing, which means now this actually it's playing, so we'll be using pause, else you can use play, and then now we'll be using this icon rather than this, so we'll just replace it with this, and now you see this. Now uh, we've done that, but the colors again another problem. So you can use stint for that, and then say material theme dot color scheme dot on primary for that. That is for this, and same is going to be for this one as well, and this one as well. Now that's one thing. Now the next thing that I'm going to do over here is that the play button or the pause button should be slightly bigger, and it should not be that smaller. So I'm going to say modifier 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 come on, modifier dot padding. That's first thing that I'm going to use, and that is going to be 16 dp. And I'm going to use a clip for that, and I'm going to say circle shape, and also then I'm going to use a background for that to be primary, and you will see this. Also, I would want the size to be bigger, so I'll be using 60 dp, 80 dp at least. Now, once you do that, you will see that the image will be slightly bigger. Now, the buttons are definitely a problem here, so we need to fix that as well. And for that, I'm going to say vertical alignment, or let's just do, definitely need a vertical alignment. So let's just add vertical alignment first, and then I'm going to say center vertically for that, so that buttons goes down. There is one more problem, I think, and that is the padding. So I'm going to make that horizontal only, so that the button goes up slightly. And I think that's pretty much how I would want everything to be. And I think there is nothing more. All we can do now is just to test and see how it looks or if it works. So just straight away run the code and see if it works. Okay, so the emulator is running now. I hope everything works. So yes, this is that. Let me just play any song. Okay, there has been something, and I think it works. So let me just switch to MacBook Pro speakers. Let me set the song up. It does look like it's running, but I'm not sure why I'm not getting any sound for that. Okay, and the button, when clicking on that button, it's not working. It should pause. So there has been some problem. Definitely there is some seem to be some problem. We can pause that from here, which is right. And I think this is working. The only thing that's not working is this play and pause action. So like when you click on the play button from here, it's not working. And let's see why it is not working. So if we go to our play song actions, this is the play button. These are the song actions. Now you can see over here is that on play, I'm actually calling the back button, which is really the previous button, which is not required. So I'm gonna say on play pause toggle, and this should also be saying on next click, so that it works as per that. And now let's just try once again. It seems to be some problem with the mic or like the sound of the system as well. I'm not sure why it's not working. It should be like in terms of sound, but let's see how it looks now. Okay, so let me just run this. It does work, but for some reason there seems to be some problem with the mic. Could be that like uh, there's something maybe with my system or something. But like you can see over here is that everything is working. You can play that, pause that. Let me just close this simulator and rerun it. Perhaps that is because of the mic, or sorry, the audio change that we did. Could be because of that. Let's play that once again. Okay, now we are here. Now you can see that's working as well. The music is working, and actually there was some problem with my settings, so I just changed that setting, and now it's working. Right now, let me just pause that and change that seek position to maybe a different position. Okay, there is one more problem I'm looking over here, is that when basically I try to basically like change this, it just doesn't allow me to freely move around with all that. So this could be something with how we are changing these values. So just let me do one more thing. I think over here, this could be the problem here when we are updating these states. Like over here, you can see when it's ready, uh, I would want the buffering to be false. I think current song should be there in this way. So that's that we also have in this case, when it's there, the buffering is true, but is playing should be false. And then we have ready state, then we have this state which is ended. So in that case the buffering should be there, and error should also be null. In this case, when it's idle again, it should be not be showing buffering and all that. What else is there? I think there was one more state as a starting playback, action play, and all that over here as a seek to position when we have. We also need this, right? And I think that's also, you can pass that. It's good. Slider, you see we are enabling it based on if it's not buffering, so maybe that is something that will help with this. So now you can, scroll this slider as you please, and then definitely that loader will help you with the buffering and all that. There are some other UX that you can do as well. For example, now you can see that I can change it to a certain value. So that is basically that was it for this video, and I hope you like the video. In this video, what we did is that we basically created a UI and then bounded that UI to the actual screen. And in the next video, we'll start working on some sort of setting up some playlist and all that for this, so that we can create some sort of playlist, and then we'll get back to this screen and the service to basically enhance it so that it can handle the playlist as well. And right now it's just handling the one song, but then it will be handling a playlist. So when a song ends, it will just start the next one, and also all these kind of things. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next video. I hope you like this video, and if you did, please do like, share, comment on this video. Even like if you don't have to comment, you can comment anything on this video. So please do comments and all that, because it help into making this content come into an algorithm so that more people can get benefit of this. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel till now, I think this would be the right time to subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll be seeing you in the next video. So till then, happy coding. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't forget any update. If you got any question, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Also, for quick updates and tips, you can follow me on Instagram. Until next time, keep learning, keep developing. Bye.